Hi folks, Scott here. Okay, so the Sweet 16's kind of tuned up now. I refabricated the relay a little bit. If you get rid of this rheostat for a second, you'll see that I have it set up the way Ed did. I've got it set up where one end is attached and the other end's attached. Only one end is a chain, so that basically you can move this whole relay around, slide it and time it if you want. I had to do that. I moved it a little, like a quarter of an inch, made a huge difference. Alright, so that spring on the back there is just to hold the PMH down because that little piece of DIN rail wasn't very strong, so I cantilevered it off a piece of 1-inch conduit shoved in that unistrut, which is holding it pretty good. And then I banged it away. It's still quite a distance away, but it works okay. And real briefly, these two rheostats, again, this time I've got this one which tunes the relay, which I'll connect up at this time, and it also has this rheostat which is in series with the PMH. And with that, basically this wheel has control. And so I had the radio and the TV going so that you could see and hear. That it totally blocks out the sound because of just the pulse off of that little spark interrupts the digital signal going to the television. See, I'll unplug it. There's the TV back showing us -10 in Montreal tomorrow, and that's actually going to be fairly warm because there's Morrisville. That's about 10 miles from here. It's supposed to be -17. Yikes. Newport -18. That's enough of that. Okay, so connecting this back up, and it'll shut the TV off anyway just by it operating. The field collapse or the spark, I'm not sure which one's interfering. Probably the spark, but there's not much of a spark. I've got sweet little silver oxide contacts now, and there's not much of a spark until I get it cranking. But what I did is I put a better spring in the contacts so that, now there's the spark. It's a little tiny baby one. I don't know if you can see that in there. Anyway, that's how sensitive it is right now. Just barely running. Now I'll crank up this, and this gives it a little more of a simple speed control like Ed had, only he wound it around bottles. And then crank it up a little more. Now it's rumbling a little. And what I found, and now you can see the arking's going a little better now. I've got a screw in the contact here that allows me to adjust the resonance of the spring, but I'm not even going to mess with it because it works pretty good right now. And actually, that's pretty strong. I can hold it back with my finger, almost stop it, and it'll pick right back up. So that's a good sign. That means that when I have this going on, I'll have some good pressure on those contacts to fire those hammers, which I'll rig up in this studio because it's way too cold outside to have it run my machines on the grid. And I'll set up a little model broom handle tripods in here and make some little baby ones. and have this little bugger cycle it. And then if I don't like the speed, I can come over here and adjust it down. And that'd be about the speed of a normal cutting saw, I guess. If you had a little hammer, it might go a little more like this. I don't know. This is a Sweet 16. Maybe he didn't have 4 on his Sweet 16s. Maybe he only had 3. But also, to make a note here, I've got 1 battery running everything now. I had 2 before because I was worried about the voltage drop off the pulse, but it's not bad. I've got it tuned so low that it doesn't kill the mill. The TV's still knocked out. Look at it. Digital. Oh my word. Up here, the capital is going to be 15 below. Alright, so I'm going to crank it back up and see. Let's see what happens if I play with the adjustments a little. Mess it up. Yeah, don't touch it. Has its own character. Now I've got the sensitivity backed way off, which actually allows the relay to bang into the contact a little better. Enough playing around. Still turning. Barely. Kind of cool though. -18. Right now it's 5 in Plattsburgh, New York. It's cold enough. I got my little baby wood stove going over here. The little goober goes pretty good when you put tiny pieces in it. Well, there's the wheel going really slow. Really, really slow. Little baby pulses just right. You can even hear it in the TV going. Alright, we'll get it. I don't think it has any super acceleration, but here goes full speed all at once. Not bad. I only got to put it in my car. But anyway, it's got enough control to run those cams out there in the field, which is really the desired goal with this whole speed control thing for Ed. As he was making Coral Castle with this machine. We know he lifted the rocks with the big chain hoist, and there's one off a tripod that would lift pretty much a train. That's probably 100,000-pound chain hoist. I don't even think the tripods will hold that much. And the other thing is this free energy affair. It's possible that he had a flyback circuit that was coming back and pulsing his batteries like Tesla and Radiant Energy, siphoning thermodynamic energy out of the air to do the batteries. I'll have to play with that. If I do that, I'm probably going to have to go buy a piece of stock and fold the PMH and then wind the secondary with some super fine snap wire like an induction coil, but I don't know yet. I don't know if that's really possible. I'd have to do battery tests and stuff, the aerial grid and the alignment and all that. I don't know. I'm at a crossroads here. I've accomplished what I think I should on the cutting and quarrying and sculpting. But it's possible this machine had other things attached to it. I mean, I know it pumped water out there, probably out in the well. He had a site. Every time you saw this thing go like this, it could pull back a solenoid which would pump water up into his little cistern in the throne room up on the corner. Alright, well, the batteries look like they could keep going on the camera and on the machine, because that one battery right there ran it for, well, one batteries ran it for 70 minutes before. And I've got it dialed back to go a decent speed for what I would think a saw would be. Chink, 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 chink. That would cut a little faster, would waste energy on the input and be too quick in the field. Plus it causes a rumble that's not required. So it's about timing on the relay. If I wanted to speed this up, I'd have to move it another 1/8 of an inch one direction to get it to sling it, instead of bumping it and having like firing it top dead center, not enough advanced or something. So I'll play and drop it down to slow again. A little bit more. Those little coils don't even heat up much anymore. I can smell them a little bit, but some of that's the rheostat too. That nichrome wire starts to stink after a while. If you touch these parts where the connections are, where the circuit's imparted, that'll sometimes burn your hands. It's pretty hot right now, actually. My piece of rebar suspended by springs on one end, holding the whole relay box down, which is made of wood in this case. Ed's, I don't know what he did. Mine's quite similar to his, I'm sure. He had a fancy terminal strip on his crossbar though, on that plate on the relay. Well, it's all about making sure that contact hits for a duration. That's why guys have springs. Also helps suppress arcing, the speed at which it breaks and release. Not a bounce or a flutter. I'll have to rig up a set of contacts. Somehow I'll have to rig up a fake little pipe, flange pipe that goes into this piece of pressure treated 2x stock, so it can emulate the angle bracket that comes down and folds down and holds the switch that rides on those 4 cloverleaf cam lobes. And I'll have it connected to the battery so it can make a kunk 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 every time one of them those comes around. Alright, well, I got 20 minutes into this. It's just to prove its endurance and control again, I guess. Plus, I like uploading videos. I know most people don't watch all the way through, and I don't blame you. If you do, God bless you. And if you don't, God bless you anyway. But you know what I mean. Thanks for watching all the way through. It means a lot. Means either you're really bored or you're really interested and want to see if I'm full of crap, because some people edit all this stuff. But after a while you don't watch, because yeah, he's got another wheel going and he's just sitting there watching the damn thing turn. But I want to pull the full juice to it and let it go. See what happens. I think the battery's getting weak. I let one of these get pretty dead by accidentally leaving one of these coils on. I forget, it was the relay. I came back in about 6 hours later and it was totally flat dead. And then as for these, those are just warm, comfortably warm. Like hand warmers, comfortably warm. So anyway, looking at the relay again, mine looks just like Ed's. Two little dangly, wiry, stringy thingies hanging off of a plate with a hole in it. And then there's two coils that are tied about the same width as the spokes, breadth. And there's not a lot of current going there. It doesn't need to be. You got the PMH concept there too, which really does help efficiently pull that to and fro. And you can see the little spark there a little, but you can see it better from the side, because then you get a full. Well, folks, it's way past midnight. I've been at this trying to get that little relay tuned up, clean up my studio a little bit. I went out and cut firewood in the wind and cold today, and I am just about bushed right out. And so on that note, I think I'm going to go in, upload this video. Hope you folks enjoy it. And I'm going to nestle down, because we're supposed to get cold weather in the next 2 or 3 days. And I'm going to draw up the circuit diagram for this and the basic rock cutting electrical part of this compound Sweet 16 24 machine, and secure that for potential monetary reasons. And then I will investigate this free energy, getting batteries charged through a potentially new scientific concept that science may have overlooked, which would be totally awesome. It'd freak everybody out and be a different way of thinking, for sure. It really wouldn't ruin anything. It'd just turn the world around, that's all. I don't think anybody would be ruined overnight anyway. All the oil people, it's not like we're going to come in and all of a sudden shut everybody down because we found a way to charge batteries efficiently using a circuit that's 100 years old and such. Plus, I don't even know if it's really possible. I know Edwin Gray and Ed Leeds Scallon and Bedini all seem to have this potentially gathering extra out of the atmosphere. Like I say, potentially thermodynamic, which I believe is, honestly, I think it's latent heat at a molecular level, almost like a plasma level. And as that snap comes back, it siphons some extra electrons with it and slams them into the lead, or more into the acid, not into the lead. And the acid absorbs every last bit of it through a chemical reaction. And then the batteries appear charged because they are. And really, somewhere in the world, it either started to rain or the air cooled down a little bit. Now, wouldn't that be the most awesome concept? That really would put a lot of people out of business. But maybe not out of business, just slow them down and turn things around. But honestly, I question the plausibility of it. To do it on a large scale, I don't know. They say it can be done. Even solar panels can run these Bedini motor things and have the counter EMF charge another battery through this concept. If that's the case, to me, that's a scientific breakthrough, and that will revolutionize the world and give everybody the ability to have local control over their power if they choose to do so at a low cost. Go to Walmart and buy tons of big old $100 batteries. $1,000 will get you 10 big marine batteries, and I bet you could run your house if you knew what you were doing, didn't waste it. That's what Pete Lindemann's trying to say, and I agree with him on that. You got to start right up front. You got to get rid of all the extra crap. Then you start on the back and save your efficiency, or not save your efficiency. You try to generate your power for free. And then you get a win-win. Teeter-totter shifts pretty good. Anyway, I'm rambling. This thing's slowing down. I got 30 minutes. Still got to slow it down just for the sake of slowing it down. As if I was out in the field running tripods, it'd be. Now those cam lobes, if you notice, are built for a certain duration also. And I'm down to 1 bar on the camera, fluttering it too. Pretty cool it's going that slow. Pretty cool that old bad bearing on my truck is doing what it's doing. You can hear it squeaking though. I have some black walnut holding this relay together and some local cherry on top. Haha. Alright, over and out, folks. I'm pulling the plug. Here's to the PMH, and there's to the relay coils. And the TV comes back. Okay. Bye.